everyone. Welcome to another episode of English with Leo and Stella. I'm Leo, and I'm so happy to have you with us.
And I'm Stella. Whether you're listening from your home, your car, or while taking a walk, thank you for spending your time with us. We promise it'll be worth it.
Yes, definitely. And today, we're diving into a topic that a lot of people ask us about: how to learn English fast. Whether you're just starting, you've been learning for a while, or you already speak pretty well but want to get better quickly, this episode is for you.
Exactly. Learning a new language can feel like a huge challenge. Sometimes it can feel slow or even frustrating. But the good news is, you can make it faster, easier, and even fun if you know the right way to do it.
Right. And just so you know a little about us, we're not just here to give advice. We've both been language learners ourselves, and we've also helped many others learn English over the years. So, everything we share with you today comes from real experience, not just from books or theory.
That's true. I remember when I first started learning English. I used to feel nervous just saying hello. But with time and the right methods, I started feeling more confident. And honestly, I wish someone had told me these tips back then.
So today, we're going to talk about real, practical ways you can improve your English faster. We'll talk about what actually works, what doesn't, and we'll even share some personal stories to help you stay motivated.
We'll also talk about some simple habits you can start today, like how to use your phone, the internet, or even music and movies to make learning easier and faster.
And let's be honest, English is everywhere. It's used in school, business, travel, online videos, social media, and more. So learning it fast can really open up a lot of opportunities, no matter where you live or what you do.
Exactly. It's not just about getting good grades or passing a test. It's about feeling free to express yourself, to connect with more people, and to feel confident in your voice.
So grab a cup of coffee or tea, sit back, and let's get into it. This episode could change the way you think about learning English.
Let's do it!
So, before we get into the tips and tricks, let's take a moment to talk about something really important: why learning English fast actually matters. Because when you understand why you're doing something, it gives you the energy to keep going, even when it feels hard.
Yes, exactly. And let's be honest, everyone has their own reason for learning English. Maybe you're learning because you want to get a better job, or maybe it's because you want to study in another country, or even travel the world and feel confident talking to people.
Right. I've talked to so many learners who say, "I just want to speak English so I can work abroad," or "I want to feel free when I travel." And some even say, "I want to understand movies without subtitles." These are all great reasons, and they're all very real and personal.
One of my students once told me, I want to speak English fast because I feel left out when my friends switch to English in conversations. That really stayed with me. For many people, English is not just a language. It's a way to connect with others, to be part of something, and to feel more confident.
Yes, and I've met people who needed to learn English fast because they had a job interview coming up, or they had to move to a new country within a few months. Sometimes life pushes us into situations where we don't have years to wait. We need to improve quickly.
And of course, we can't ignore the role of social media today. So much content on YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, and even professional platforms like LinkedIn is in English. So if you want to learn something new or share your own ideas with a global audience, English really helps.
You know, I remember when I was learning English, what helped me the most wasn't a textbook. It was my desire to connect with people. I wanted to talk to friends from other countries, join online groups, and understand the lyrics of my favorite songs. That made me practice more every day, even if it was just for 15 minutes.
Yes, and that brings us to something really powerful: motivation. Your reason to learn, your why, is what keeps you going. If you know your reason clearly, you will learn faster. Why? Because when things get tough, and they will, you'll remember why you started and you won't give up.
That's where goal setting comes in. Now don't worry, we're not talking about writing a big complicated plan. A goal can be as simple as, I want to hold a 5-minute conversation in English within 1 month, or I want to understand one English podcast episode every week. Start small and be clear.
I always tell my learners, don't say, I want to be fluent. That's too big and too vague. Instead, break it down. Say, I want to learn 10 new words this week, or I want to practice speaking for 10 minutes every day. Small goals lead to big progress.
Yes, and when you achieve those small goals, you feel good, you feel proud, and that feeling gives you more energy to keep learning. It becomes a cycle: goal, action, success, motivation. And that's how learning speeds up.
So if you're listening right now, take a moment and ask yourself, what's your reason for learning English? Is it to get a job? To make new friends? To feel more confident? Whatever it is, keep that reason close. Write it down. Say it out loud. Because that reason is your fuel.
And just remember, you don't have to learn English perfectly. You just have to keep moving forward. And the stronger your reason, the faster your progress.
Well said. So now that we know why learning English fast is important, let's move on to something that can really change your mindset: what's true and what's not true about learning English. Yep, we're going to bust some common myths. All right, now let's talk about something that holds a lot of learners back: myths. These are things people often believe about learning English, but they're just not true. And if you believe them, they can actually slow you down.
Exactly. I hear these myths all the time, and sometimes even advanced learners still believe them. So today, we're going to bust 3 of the most common ones and help you see the truth.
All right, myth number 1. You need to be in an English-speaking country to learn English.
Ah yes, the classic one. So many people think, if I don't live in the UK or the US or Australia, I can't learn English well. But that's just not true anymore. Yes, being in an English-speaking country can help, but it's not the only way. In fact, with the internet today, you can create your own English world right from your home.
Exactly. I had a student from a small village, no English speakers around, not even a language school nearby. But she learned English by watching YouTube videos, listening to music, joining Facebook groups, and practicing with people online. She created her own environment.
Same here. I didn't travel abroad when I started learning. I used to pretend I was in an English-speaking country by changing the language on my phone, watching English TV, and even talking to myself in English during the day. It felt strange at first, but it worked.
So remember, you don't need to live in an English-speaking country. You just need to bring English into your daily life as much as possible.
All right. Myth number 2. You must memorize all the grammar rules first before you start speaking.
Oh, this one really breaks my heart. So many people are scared to speak because they feel like they don't know enough grammar. But here's the truth. You don't need to be a grammar expert to start speaking English. In fact, you learn grammar better when you speak and listen more.
Exactly. Think about how children learn a language. They don't open grammar books. They listen, they repeat, they make mistakes, and they learn. Grammar is important, sure, but it should come with speaking, not before it.
I always tell learners, don't wait for perfect. Just speak. Even if it's broken, even if it's slow. That's how you grow. And trust me, grammar will start to make more sense the more you use the language in real situations.
Yes, and you know what? Native speakers also make grammar mistakes sometimes. The goal is not perfection, it's communication.
All right, last one. Myth number 3. It takes years to become fluent in English.
Now this one depends on what you mean by fluent. If you're thinking of fluency as some magical level where you never pause, never make mistakes, and understand everything instantly, well, nobody really gets there, not even native speakers.
That's right. Fluency doesn't mean you know everything. It means you can communicate your ideas clearly and comfortably. And believe me, you can get there much faster than you think if you're consistent and you use the right strategies.
Yes, I've seen learners make huge progress in just 6 months. Not by studying 8 hours a day, but by using the language every day in real, meaningful ways.
So please don't believe the myth that it takes years. You don't need to wait that long. If you set smart goals, practice daily, and stay motivated, you can become confident and fluent faster than you ever imagined.
So, to recap, no, you don't have to live in an English-speaking country. No, you don't have to master grammar first. And no, it doesn't take years to speak well. These are just myths. You have more power than you think.
Exactly. And now that we've cleared up some of those false beliefs, let's move on to the good part. The real tips. How do you actually learn English fast? What works? What doesn't? Let's dive in.
All right, now it's time for the heart of today's episode. Real tips that can help you learn English fast. These are things anyone can start doing today, no matter where you are or what level you're at.
Yes, and we've broken them down into simple steps so it's easy to follow. You don't need to do everything at once. Just start with one or two and build from there. So let's jump into the first tip.
Tip number 1. Set clear goals. This is the foundation. If you don't know where you're going, how will you get there?
Exactly. A lot of people say, I want to speak fluent English, but that's too big and too vague. We suggest setting what we call SMART goals, but in very simple terms.
Right. So SMART means your goal should be specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-based. Let's make that even easier. Instead of saying, I want to learn English, try saying, I want to have a 5-minute conversation in English with a friend by the end of this month. That's a clear goal.
Or, I want to learn 10 new English words this week and use them in a sentence. That's specific, realistic, and you can track your progress. When you have small, clear goals, you feel good when you reach them, and that pushes you to keep going.
Tip number 2. Practice every day. And don't worry, it doesn't have to be hours and hours. Just 15 to 30 minutes a day can make a big difference if you use that time wisely.
Yes, consistency is more important than long study sessions. Try using a flashcard app like Anki or Quizlet for vocabulary, or just talk to yourself in English while doing simple tasks like cooking or walking.
I used to describe my morning routine in English to myself. I'm brushing my teeth now. I'm making coffee. It felt silly at first, but it helped me think in English, and that's powerful.
Next tip. Listen and speak as much as you can. Reading and writing are great, but if you want to speak fast, you have to listen and talk every day.
Yes, Listen to podcasts, watch YouTube videos, or try something called shadowing. That's when you listen to a sentence and repeat it out loud right after the speaker, copying their pronunciation and rhythm.
And don't be shy. Speak, even if it's to yourself, or use voice messages with a language partner. The more your mouth and ears work together, the faster you'll improve.
Tip number 4. Read more and build your vocabulary. Start with what feels easy. Children's books, short stories, or news websites made for learners.
Subtitles are super helpful too. Watch your favorite show with English subtitles. That way, your brain connects the sound of the word with the spelling and meaning.
And here's a simple idea. Learn just 5 new words a day. Write them down, use them in sentences, review them before bed. In 1 month, that's 150 new words.
Tip number 5. Don't be afraid to make mistakes. This is something we can't say enough.
Yes, mistakes don't mean you're failing, they mean you're learning. Every mistake is a chance to improve.
I still make mistakes in other languages I speak, and I'm proud of them because they show I'm trying. So speak up, write that sentence, ask that question, even if it's not perfect. You'll get better every time.
Tip number 6. Learn with others. Studying alone is fine, but learning with someone else is faster and more fun.
Yes! Try a language exchange. You help someone with your native language, and they help you with English. Or join an online group, like a Facebook group or a WhatsApp chat for learners.
And if you have a friend who's also learning English, practice together. Set challenges like, let's only speak English for 10 minutes today. It builds confidence and makes it less scary.
Last tip, use the power of technology. We live in a time where tools are everywhere. Use them.
Download apps like Duolingo, Babbel. Watch YouTube channels for English learners. Use AI tools. Even talking to ChatGPT in English can be great practice.
Listen to music, translate the lyrics, or sing along. Watch movies in English. Use your phone's language setting. Make English a part of your digital life.
So there you have it. 7 powerful tips that really work. You don't have to be perfect, and you don't have to do everything today. Just start somewhere and stay consistent.
Remember, it's not about learning everything. It's about using English a little more every day. Keep your goals clear, practice daily, and don't stop because of fear or mistakes. That's how you learn fast.
Coming up next, we'll share a bit about our own experiences, what helped us, what didn't, and some honest lessons from our journeys.
All right, now that we've shared some useful tips, we want to get a little more personal. We believe that real stories can really help people feel encouraged, especially when learning something like a language. So, let's talk about our own journeys with English. What worked, what didn't, and the mistakes we made along the way.
Yes, and I'll go first. So, I actually started learning English when I was a teenager. I didn't go to any fancy school or have a native speaker teacher. In fact, I learned English mostly from TV shows, songs, and trying to read things online. I remember watching cartoons in English without understanding most of it, but I kept watching anyway. Over time, I started picking up simple words and phrases just by hearing them again and again.
That's such a good point. Repetition is powerful. I had a similar experience. For me, it started with music. I used to love English songs, but didn't understand what they were saying. So I would listen again and again, search for the lyrics, and try to sing along. That really helped my pronunciation and vocabulary. I didn't even realize I was learning. It felt more like having fun.
Yeah, and I'll be honest, I made a lot of mistakes in the beginning. I used to mix up simple things like he and she, or say things in a strange word order. I remember once I said, I very like pizza, and someone gently corrected me. At first, I felt a little embarrassed, but over time I realized those small mistakes helped me grow.
Oh, same here. I once said, I have 25 years, instead of I am 25 years old, and someone laughed. But they also explained it kindly. I still remember that moment because it taught me something in a way that stuck. So if you're listening to this, please don't be afraid to make mistakes. Every mistake is a small step toward improvement.
Exactly. And what worked best for me, apart from watching shows, was speaking out loud, even when I was alone. I would look in the mirror and describe my day in English. Today I woke up late, or now I am cooking dinner. It felt silly at first, but it really helped me think faster in English.
For me, writing a journal in English made a big difference. Every night, I'd write just a few sentences about my day. It helped me learn new vocabulary and build sentences naturally. And when I didn't know a word, I'd look it up. Slowly, I got better.
So, to everyone listening, we didn't start as fluent speakers. We were just like you. We made mistakes, felt nervous, sometimes felt stuck, but we kept going. And that's the most important part.
Yes, learning English is not about being perfect. It's about making progress step by step. And if we could do it, so can you.
You're not alone in this journey. And now, we're here to support you however we can.
Coming up next, we'll quickly answer some common questions that learners ask, and then we'll wrap things up with a little recap and some encouragement to help you stay motivated.
All right, we're almost at the end of today's episode, and what a journey it's been. Before we go, let's take a quick moment to recap everything we've talked about today.
Yes, because we covered a lot. First, we talked about why learning English fast is important. Maybe it's for a better job, studying abroad, traveling, or just feeling confident in conversations. Whatever your reason is, remember, it's personal and it matters.
Then we moved on to common myths, like thinking you have to live in an English-speaking country, or that you need to memorize all the grammar rules before you can start speaking. We busted those myths and reminded you. You can start speaking now, wherever you are, and mistakes are part of the process.
Right. After that, we shared our best tips to learn English fast. Things like setting clear, small goals, practicing a little every day, and focusing on listening and speaking, not just grammar. We talked about reading, learning just a few new words daily, and most importantly, not being afraid of mistakes.
We also encouraged you to find a learning partner or community and use the technology around you. Your phone, YouTube, apps, even AI, they're tools you can use to make English a daily habit.
And of course, we shared our own stories, how we made mistakes, what helped us the most, and how we kept going even when things felt slow or difficult. Because we want you to know that we've been there too.
So now, here's our final advice. Don't try to be perfect. Just try to be consistent. Even 15 minutes a day can change everything if you do it with focus. Speak out loud. Write down your thoughts. Watch something interesting in English, or learn a few new words, and do it every single day.
And if you ever feel stuck, remember your why. Why did you start learning English? Hold on to that reason. Keep it close. Because that motivation is your fuel.
And one last thing, don't give up. Seriously. Some days will be hard. Some days you might feel like you're not making progress. But every time you try, every word you speak or understand, that's progress. It all adds up.
You're doing better than you think. So keep going, keep learning, and believe in yourself. You've got this.
We're so proud of you for listening today and taking this step. Thank you for spending your time with us. It really means a lot.
Yes, thank you. We hope today's episode helped you feel more confident, more focused, and more ready to take action.
Don't forget to subscribe or follow if you enjoyed this podcast. And if you know someone else who's learning English, share this episode with them too. Let's grow together.
Until next time, keep learning, keep smiling, and keep speaking English. Both. Bye for now.